This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
Masks of Nyarlathotep. Our characters left Peru. Some of them travelled around South America, others returned to America, one returned to Britain, and although their paths diverged, they remained in touch. Their letters, their telegrams kept them in contact with each other. Though there weren't too many deep and meaningful references to the horrors they had encountered in Peru. Certainly between Shelby Shattuck and Jackson Elias, that relationship remained strong. When you go through a trauma such as these characters have, it is impossible to extract yourself from them, and it is, much as Madeline was telling us in our last session, just the sheer act of writing to each other is a reminder. You don't need to needle the wound, necessarily, to make you remember. Madeline, after you arrive back in New York from Peru, there are many places that your travels take you, meeting up with old friends, wandering the city, seeing what's changed in the year and a half since you left. And New York is a city that's changing all the time. It is constantly receiving an influx of new visitors, new residents. It is, of course, the first port of call for many arriving from Europe. And as well as finding the street beneath your feet again, you can't help but occasionally take a boat out into the harbour. And it's not a commercial enterprise, you don't set up a boating business, but slowly but surely, I would like for you to make a credit rating roll now, Madeline.
Yeah, I got a 15. That's a hard success, apparently.
Superb. So this is what that means. With your mobility not being quite what it once was, you still need to make money. And you've always been good on the sea or on a river. And there are some local residents who have been talking about running a ferry company that runs from New York to New Jersey. It's a big pooled operation, and it's going to be a primarily blacks-only affair. It's not exactly the progression that you were hoping to come back to New York to find, but it seems increasingly there are more and more businesses that are tailored to cater for black people or Italians or Jewish people and so forth. And running this communal ferry, well, it does give you the opportunity, now that you've put your money in, to occasionally get behind the wheel. It's low intensity for you, it's just there and back again, like driving a bus, practically. But it allows you to get out on the water. Make a boating roll to see whether your first ferry sinks.
This is a 52 over 50. I am going to burn the 2 points of luck.
As it is, it takes you some time to find your sea legs. Again, it's not a massive journey. And there's all kinds of ordinances, all kinds of rules and laws about where you can sail. There are lanes out here on the water, would you believe? But you do it, and you can feel some pride in that. Not only are you an invested interest in this ferry boat company, you're also a pretty good pilot. You can tick pilot boating, Bridgett. But now, the most blatant of all, most likely to open up old scars. A telegram sent from Jackson Elias. Have information concerning Carlisle expedition. Stop. Need reliable investigative team. Stop. Meet January 15, New York. Stop. Jackson Elias. For those of you who aren't in the mainland United States, that's going to require quite a hike at short notice. But if Jackson needs you for something, it's not that he's demanding. It's not that you feel obliged. But he is your friend. You've been through something that, well, few humans could say they've shared. And so, via various manners and means, you make your way to New York. But that's reference in his telegram to the Carlisle expedition. All of you have heard of the Carlisle expedition. It took place in 1919, before your trip to Peru, it should be said. Roger Carlyle was apparently leading an expedition out to Africa, East Africa, in search of some treasures or history or other. And the reason you know of it more than anything else isn't because Carlyle was someone you knew personally, or because you were interested in the history he was focused on, more the ill-fated nature of the expedition. It was widely reported that the Carlyle expedition met absolute calamity. Every member of the expedition massacred. Not found for quite some time, until after their death, but sure enough, dead. Something of a stain on the reputation of explorers, treasure hunters, expedition packs making their way through Africa. Put some would-be adventurers off. But it's strange how grisly murders can quicken the blood of others and make them think, well, if they failed, I may just succeed. Here is what you discover about the Carlisle expedition in the run-up to your meeting with Jackson Elias. The first report of it was on April the 4th, 1919, in the New York Pillar. The headline was Big Apple Dateline. Roger Carlyle, the playboy, whom everybody knows or knows about, is quietly leaving New York tomorrow to check out the tombs of Egypt. You've seen the cuties Roger found in the night spots. Who can doubt he'll dig up something equally fabulous from the Egyptian sands? Not the most sober of reports. But this was before everything went horribly wrong. April the 5th, one day later, Carlisle expedition embarks for London. Led by the fabulously wealthy playboy Roger Carlyle, the Carlisle expedition departed this morning for Southampton aboard the British steamship Imperial Standard. Contrary to earlier reports, the expedition will perform researches in London under the auspices of the Penhew Foundation before continuing to Egypt next month. Readers may recall the enormous party which Mr. Carlyle, now 24, gave at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel upon reaching his majority. Since then, scandals and indelicate behaviour have become Carlyle's trademark, but he has never become tarnished in the eyes of the Manhattanites. Members of the expedition have been reluctant to reveal their purpose in Egypt. Other expedition members, goes the sub-headline. Renowned Egyptologist Sir Aubrey Penhew is assistant leader of the team and in charge of excavations. Dr. Robert Houston, a fashionable Freudian psychologist, accompanies the expedition to pursue parallel researches into ancient pictographs. Miss Hypatia Masters, linked in the past to Carlyle, will act as photographer and archivist. Mr. Jack Brady, intimate to Mr. Carlyle, accompanies the group as general factotum. Additional members may be secured while in London. There are no reports on the Carlisle expedition for the next couple of months. After all, they had to make the journey from New York to Britain, and then they were conducting research there. Very little for the tabloids to tattle on. But come July the 4th, 1919, a new headline in the New York Pillar. Carlyle departs Egypt. Cairo, AP, so Associated Press. Sir Aubrey Penhew, temporary spokesman for the Carlisle expedition, indicated Thursday that the leaders are taking ship to East Africa for a well-earned rest. Sir Aubrey debunked rumours that the expedition had discovered clues to the legendary wealth of the lost mines of King Solomon, maintaining that the party was going on safari in respite from our sandy labours. Roger Carlyle, wealthy New York leader of the expedition, was unavailable for comment, still suffering from his recent sunstroke. Discussing that unfortunate incident, local experts declared Egypt entirely too hot for Anglo-Saxons this time of year, and suggested that the young American had not been well served by his democratic enthusiasm, rumoured to have led him to personally wield pick and shovel. What a guy. Further news. Believe me, this goes on. July 31st, 1919. Important visitors. Mombasa, Reuters. Leading members of an American archaeological expedition arrived here on holiday from digs in Egypt's Nile Valley. Our Undersecretary, Mr. Royston Whittington, held a welcoming dinner for them at Collingswood House, where the wit of Sir Aubrey Penhew, expedition co-leader, was much in evidence. Accompanying Sir Aubrey are the youthful financier Roger Carlyle and medical doctor Robert Houston, as well as socialite Miss Hypatia Masters. The party leaves inland today for Nairobi and hunting. Once again, a period of silence in the international press. Clearly, the safari expedition of the Carlyles was not warranted as part of the news cycle. Come October the 15th, 1919, a devastating headline for people following this adventure. Carlisle expedition feared lost. Mombasa, Reuters. Uplands police representatives today asked for public assistance concerning the possible disappearance of the Carlisle expedition. No word of the party has been received in nearly 2 months. The group includes wealthy playboy Roger Carlyle and 4 other American citizens, as well as Egyptologist Sir Aubrey Penhew of the United Kingdom. The expedition left Nairobi on August 3rd, ostensibly on safari, but rumour insisted that they actually were after legendary biblical treasures. Carlyle and his party reportedly intended to explore portions of the Great Rift Valley to the northwest of Nairobi. Another lengthy period of silence follows, this the longest so far, because they are not reported on again until March the 11th, 1920. Erica Carlyle arrives in Africa, reads the headline. Mombasa, Reuters. In response to clues, Miss Erica Carlyle, sister to the American leader of the lost Carlisle expedition, arrived in port today aboard the Egyptian vessel Fount of Life. Several Kikuyu villager reports recently have been received concerning the putative massacre of unnamed whites near the Aberdare forest. Miss Carlyle declared her intention to find her brother regardless of the effort needed. She brought with her the nucleus of a large expedition. Detailing agents to coordinate supply and other activities with colony representatives, Miss Carlyle and the remainder of her party depart for Nairobi tomorrow. Her companion, Mrs. Victoria Post, indirectly emphasised Miss Carlyle's purposefulness by recounting the rigours of the voyage. May 24th, 1920. Almost there. Carlisle massacre confirmed. Nairobi, Reuters. The massacre of the long-missing Carlisle expedition was confirmed today by district police representatives. Roger Carlyle, New York's rollicking playboy, is counted among the dead. Authorities blame hostile Nandi tribesmen for the shocking murders. Remains of at least 24 expedition members and bearers are thought found in a remote region of the Aberdare forest. Erica Carlyle, Roger Carlyle's sister and apparent heiress to the Carlyle family fortune, led the dangerous search for her brother and his party. She credited Kikuyu tribesmen for the discovery, though police actually found the site. Among other expedition members believed lost are Sir Aubrey Penhew, noted Egyptologist, New York socialite Hypatia Masters, and Dr. Robert Houston. Many bearers also are reported dead. June 19th, 1920. Less than a month later. Murderers hanged. Nairobi, Reuters. 5 Nandi tribesmen, convicted ringleaders of the vicious Carlisle expedition massacre, were executed this morning after a short, expertly conducted trial. To the end, the tribesmen steadfastly refused to reveal why they had slaughtered Mr. Carlyle and his companions. Mr. Harvis, acting for the colony, cleverly implied throughout the trial that the massacre was racial in motivation, and that the fair-skinned victims were subject to the most savage treatment, preventing all but the most preliminary identification of the remains. Miss Erica Carlyle, defeated in her efforts to rescue her brother, left several weeks ago, but is surely comforted now by the triumph of justice. So, by the time January the 15th rolls around, all of you have read these newspaper articles. You have learned about the Carlisle expedition, and indeed it should be fairly apparent why Jackson Elias would have an interest in it. while not identical to your journey to Peru, there are some similarities, certainly. You haven't yet encountered him. Indeed, you are all of you staying in New York now, meeting up with each other. What I would suggest is, well, Madeline, you live in New York. Upon hearing that your companions are going to be travelling to the Big Apple for the first time, well, in a long time, maybe ever, are you prepared to greet them at your home?
I'm trying so hard not to make a "they're so broke they don't really have a lot of options" joke right now, but yes, I am going to open up my home for our guests. Given what I know about working with Jackson Elias in the past, I will be the point of onboarding. I will make sure that my accommodations are small. Somebody's going to be on the floor, another person is going to be on the couch, or we can do like I did when I grew up in the Bahamas and all three of us just get into the same bed. There are multiple options, but no, I will be the point of onboarding. The boys can come stay with me. Chances are, if Jackson Elias needs us to look into something, we probably won't be in New York long, and he will probably have the means to cover whatever accommodations we need outside of that. So yes, I will be the point of onboarding. The boys can come and stay with me until we understand what our next move is.
Well, upon meeting each other again, and again by lucky fates, Shelby, Felix, you arrive in New York at the same time. I'm going to ask you, would you like Hugo and Rupert to be with you? They can have been invited as well, or do you want this to be a trio-based scenario?
I'll say I would be fine with Rupert coming along, if he's keen.
He's only too happy. It's been over a year since he left the country.
I think, yeah, for me and Hugo, I mean, the way that last job ended and the fact that I cost us a lot of money through my, well, inattention to things, I suppose we decided that it was good for me to take a break from the business for a while. He's got things under control over there, and I don't think he's joined me. I'm making this journey by myself.
It's not a cold parting, quite the contrary. Hugo embraces you tightly and says, when you are ready to come back, we will go back into business together. You have put me back on my feet. Felix.
I look forward to that day, Corporal. My friend.
He salutes you.
I salute back.
And then just smiles and gives you another hug. Travel safely.
Thank you. Yes, and I'll hug him back, and then I'll say goodbye. And I do feel proud in a way of what we've done, and the fact that I was able to make up for what I did to him. I mean, it wasn't really my fault, but I certainly didn't make it better. But now it's good. Now he's on his feet again, and we have a business together. And yeah, I'll come back to that once this is done. It's good. Did I end up seeing de Mendoza more though? Did he continue following me?
You didn't see him, but you were always aware that he could be close behind. And I have no doubt that there were times, Felix, that you were constantly looking over your shoulder or couldn't sleep through the night in case he was there. It didn't seem that he was threatening to murder you. I mean, he could have done that on many occasions, especially when you were travelling alone. So much as waiting for your death. But who knows with a creature like that?
Yes. I think I've been sleeping with the Luger close by, perhaps even under the pillow. It's not made for particularly good sleep, unfortunately.
You arrive in Harlem, looking up at Madeline's abode, at just about the same time that you hear from down the street, "Oh look, Shelley, it's Felix!"
Oh, hello, Felix.
Rupert, Shelby, it's nice to see you both. It's been too long. You look well?
Yeah, and you do as well.
You've gained a few pounds, I say, to Rupert.
Oh, well, you know, the comforts of home. I mean, I can't boast the same tan that you have. I mean, my sunburn wore off a good 8 months ago, you look positively swarthy, young man.
I spent most of my days guarding important people on the streets of Rio and other exciting places. Yes, but...
Really? Well, I should introduce you to my friend, he says, utterly ignoring the fact that this is more a meeting of Felix and Shelby. This is Arturo. Arturo smiles and nods.
Ah, Arturo. Very nice to meet you, I'll say.
He leans in, utterly reluctant to learn a single word of English. Believe me, I have tried. Getting quite frustrating now. But, I mean, we are more about... We express ourselves in other ways, he says, nodding knowingly.
Yes, Spanish.
Yes, I nod back and I begin speaking to Arturo in Spanish.
And Arturo responds in Spanish. What are you saying to him?
I'm just doing basic greetings, and it's so nice to meet you. How did the two of you meet? And just try to show that I speak Spanish to see if I can get Rupert to be jealous.
Rupert does look jealous and uncomfortable and shifts from foot to foot and is unaware that Arturo then proceeds to make you deeply uncomfortable by, without any shame whatsoever, explaining exactly how he and Rupert met and why they're now basically attached at the hip. It involves a bathhouse and lots of steam. But Arturo does it all with a big smile on his face and with a laugh, and he claps you on the arm. Yes, well, whatever you two old women are nattering about.
I'll just smile and wink at Rupert. All right. Well, look at this place. Isn't it gorgeous? I mean, it's a very colourful neighbourhood. But this... Is it a house? A flat? Tell us, Madeline. What does your home in Harlem look like?
You know what, Keeper? Let's go revisit our credit score for just a quick sec. Oh, a 30 credit rating? Oh, you know what? Why am I getting brownstone vibes?
Well, there are plenty of brownstones that are overpopulated.
Yeah.
While there are parts of New York where brownstones are, I guess, what we would call today gentrified. They, of course, are multi-level. You'll have a sub-level. You'll have your stoop. And it really all depends on where you are in the building and how many people you're living with. Assuming Madeline is able to live by herself, she's probably in the sub-basement.
Yep, that feels good. I absolutely love that. That feels good, which has probably been very unamusing with her and this hip injury or this leg injury. But yeah, no, that absolutely works out perfectly.
In that case, these three gentlemen are looking up at your building and won't see you climbing up the stairs toward them.
Yeah, it's a, they may not see me, but they're eventually going to hear me. If it's not just the hobbling of my shoes on the concrete, it's definitely going to be that overexcited, they're here type of excitement. And the second I hit ground level, I am going to lunge myself at Shelby. It's going to be a full quote-unquote attack. Shelby is about to get a chest full of affection as I leap into his arms, wrap my arms around him, and literally squeal in his ear. Shelby, it's so good to see you.
Shelby takes one step back from the impact, but he's strong and got a huge size, so he's not shifted too much, and gratefully and vigorously returns the hug. It's been good to see you too. It's been so long. It's been too long.
I nuzzle into him face to face, probably a step past like that comfort level of intimacy, but I'm overwhelmed and I'm excited. I'm going to immediately disengage, and Felix is going to get the exact mirror image of that same type of affection.
Oh, I'll be very pleasantly surprised. Madeline, it's so good to see you. And we'll hug you back.
Welcome. Does Rupert want a hug too? I feel like Rupert wants this type of affection as well.
On some level, but he holds his hand out for you to shake.
Oh, that's perfect. So he holds his hand out for me to shake. I'm going to backhand it with the back of my right hand, and then he can catch this affection too. Hello, Rupert.
Oh, Miss Hopper. And he pats you and then hugs you, albeit a little stiffly.
And I disengage. Your handwriting is one of the few that I am actually able to read. And do I know who Arturo is? Is this a complete stranger to me?
Well, I have written about him. Arturo, this is Miss Hopper. We spent some time with her. See.
Arturo gets the exact same level of affection. I don't know Arturo. I don't know what his boundaries are, but he's about to get a chest full of excited black women too.
He laughs, sort of jumps up and down a little, hugs you fully. All right. Let's not get married in the street.
Welcome. I don't quite have food ready. I didn't know when precisely you were going to arrive, but I'm more than happy to go and pick it up at this point. There is a amazing bagel shop right down the street from here. It's one of Jackson's favorite, actually. Please, let's get you in and get you settled.
Absolutely. Do you need help carrying anything, or?
Shelby, he taps you. Look, she can walk. She's perfectly able.
I apologize. I didn't mean to upset you.
I accept your apology.
Not you. I'll make sure you limp.
There's a moment where I'm just on the precipice of making a joke. He's carried me before, and I just stop as soon as I get there. Because it is a very funny joke until I have to come face to face with why he had to carry me. And I just abandon it. I just swallow that down. I keep the sunshine on my smile. It's like, please, let me show you guys in.
So you head on downstairs into Madeline's basement flat. And I imagine it is about as beautiful as you can make a place like this. Well lit, comfortable, most certainly. And while it's fairly cramped quarters, you have no lack of heat down here.
Gotta love our boiler systems. It's clean. It's not museum state quality. The furniture doesn't quite match the drapes. It looks like everything is probably secondhand. She could probably afford to do better, but this is a person who hasn't truly lived someplace in a long time, and it shows. This is kind of like, hey, whatever I can gather together that's comfortable, that's what we're going to have. Because let's be honest, I never really do know how long I'll bed down in a place. Okay, boys, it's tight, but it's comfortable. We can get 2 in the bed, 1 on the couch, and everyone else is going to have to be on the floor.
Oh, I'll take the floor.
Yeah, it's not the first time I slept on the floor.
Okay.
Rupert avoids the natural innuendo, and
He's grown. Wow.
yes, despite the temptation, he says, "Come on, Arturo, we'll take the bed." And he says it with all seriousness. So, when was the last time you saw? I would love to know how you're getting on as well, Miss Hopper, but when was the last time you saw Mr. Elias?
That is a good question. We're in the same city. When is the last time I saw him?
So, back when you got back to New York, he wasn't here. Obviously, that was close to a year ago now. He was doing a fair amount of travelling around. And he would stop in from time to time, and whenever he returned to the city, he would swing by Harlem, and he would spend time with you. Tell me, would you say your relationship ever developed beyond a friendship? This is entirely your choice, Bridgett.
I was just getting ready to tee up to you. It's like, what is the interest level on your end for them being romantically involved? Because that felt like a great natural progression on where they were.
Yeah, I think Jackson would be open to that, though equally he isn't an asshole, and if you think he's not necessarily Madeline's type, he would be quite as happy being firm friends.
So no, the attraction has been in place probably since the first time that they met. I'm going to say that probably that developed a little bit more with the caregiving aspect and him staying behind in Peru with her. Mm-hmm. But where they are right now, I absolutely love the idea that they're not exclusive, but they definitely are intimate when they're in the same city together.
Your relationship in Peru never evolved into romance. Not there. It was more of care. It was compassion. It was a tight friendship, and he wasn't going anywhere. You could even describe it as a kind of love that grew, but it never went beyond that. It almost felt like the wrong place for it to go beyond that, especially while you were in such ill health. But ever since your return to America, whenever Jackson has been in New York and he travels widely, you and he have had cause to spend the occasional night together, and the occasional morning, sometimes the whole day. But you've never agreed on this being some exclusive thing. Getting married, moving in together, travelling with each other. It's not that it's casual. It's more just an acceptance of the reality that his life takes him some places, your life takes you others. And whenever you can spend time together, it's a joyous time, but it's not every time. You last saw Jackson about a month ago. You received the invite to meet up with him on January 15, though notably he didn't specify where. But he does know where you live, of course, so it's highly likely he will stop by here on that date.
So when that question lands, my right hand involuntarily reaches almost directly between my breasts, where I'm wearing a very simple silver chain that has some type of charm or something that's just tucked beneath her dress where you can't quite see it, but it is still something that she just that I involuntarily clutch at. Maybe a month ago? A month feels about right. That's the last time I saw him. We had bagels up the street.
Oh, really?
My palms drop to my waist, and I'm not even going to pretend that I didn't catch that tone. I glare at him with this playful challenge. Yes, really. And as a matter of fact, you can be the one to escort me down the street to get food for everyone. You ready?
Oh.
Excellent. Let's go.
I was just growing comfortable in your nook. Let's go for a walk.
I look back and forth between both of them. Did I miss something?
If Felix and Shelby are remaining at your flat, I would love for you to describe to them the kinds of things they might find there. Because it's always a bit awkward when you're left in someone's house, especially if you've never been there before, even if they're only gone for about 15 minutes. What do you have in your abode? And indeed, is there anything there that might relate to events in Peru?
Yeah, I'll just rapid fire some items. There is an assortment of art that looks like it comes from all over the world. There are global expressions of art, whether it's a small glass jellyfish, whether it's a small 5x7 hand painting. Just, you can go through this very small abode and there are just continental recognitions of expressions of art everywhere that you can find. None of it matches. There's no symmetry to it, but there is a story to it that you can kind of follow around and you can see the places that she's traveled. There are pieces of art, at least a couple, that you'll be able to find from Peru, specifically that little small town that that all of us were in. There's only a single family photo. There's actually only a single photo that you can see anywhere. It's a black and white photo that looks like it suffered probably some type of water damage. It's sitting in a small frame, and it is a collection of black faces that looks like it's somewhere hot, given like the tropical trees that you may see in the background. And there's at least a family of 10 or 15 people that are all staring forward at the camera, and none of them are smiling. Not a single one. Everyone has that stoic, strict, we're taking a photo 1920s vibe or earlier, except for a little child in the front, a little girl that is in some type of a cast that has a dress on with a ear-to-ear smile. And the more you look at her eyes, the more you look at her, it's like, oh, yep, that's absolutely Madeline or one of her siblings, but very likely Madeline when she was 7 or 8 years old. Going through the house, not that we're snooping, but if you get to her desk, there are a lot of letters that are organized from all over the globe. You guys are not her only pen pals. She writes consistently to the people that she's met, the relationships that she's built from her travels all over the world.
That sounds good to me. I'll turn it over to Maciej and Eddy to see if they've got any questions. Likewise, if they're not just exploring in silence, what they're discussing with each other. This is the first time in quite some time. In fact, Felix and Shelby have been apart for longer than Shelby and Madeline, so there's a lot of catching up to do.
I will look around the flat just to kind of, out of curiosity, look at the art. But mostly, yeah, it will be chatting with Felix. How's your business going?
Oh, it's been going quite well. Been doing bodyguard duty for important people in South America. Hugo is running things over there now. I took a break to come do this. Listen, there's something I didn't mention in my letters because I wanted to say it in person. I'll have to tell Madeline later. The Mendoza, I saw him. He's still alive.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I mean, he'd been alive a long time, right? A lot longer than you're supposed to be able to be alive. Whatever I did wasn't enough to... Well, shooting him in the head wasn't enough to kill him, apparently. And he holds a grudge.
I suppose I would too.
I don't know what he wants, though. He could have killed me, but he didn't do that.
He didn't? What did he do?
He seemed interested in talking to me, but I couldn't really get a read on what he actually wanted to achieve. I guess he wanted me to feel threatened, and I do. So, yeah, if you see an ancient-looking old conquistador, well, then you know it's him.
Yeah, we should mention this to Elias when we meet up, because we need to deal with him somehow. He can't just keep popping up like this.
Yeah, we'll do that. Anyway, I hope I've shaken him. I hope he hasn't followed me over here. Although, wouldn't put it past him.
No, that's actually a good point. Maybe you and I should consider staying up. One of them staying up tonight and then waking the other one up, just so there's somebody awake today.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, how's things been for you? I mean, everything been good?
For the most part, yeah. I have a potentially new publisher. Came out to meet with me right before I got the telegram, so that's positive. He's interested in some of my work. Rupert has met Arturo, and they're vocal together.
Arturo is sat there on the bed and gives you a wave because he can understand English.
And I'm really curious as to the Carlisle expedition. I've been reading up on that. Have you been looking into it as well?
Yeah, I have. I had a little time to spare, so yeah, I've been doing what I can to find out about it, but I know I'm nothing against Mr. Elias when it comes to research, so I really look forward to hearing what he's been able to dig up and, well, what role we can play in all this.
You know what? I'm gonna try to see if maybe Madeline has some beers around here. I think that feels good right now.
Yeah, and I'll leave it at that as well. Not wanting to dig up the talk about the pyramid again, even though it always is there, just hiding beneath the surface in my mind.
Yeah. Shelby internally is thinking that I see that conversation going in that direction, and so that's why I cut it off and make sure to put the beer in Felix's hand so Felix doesn't have to relive that until we're ready to have a conversation.
Yeah, and hey, a beer feels good at this time, so I'll just sit down and I guess we'll just talk about the weather, just pass the time. Maybe get to learn a little bit about Arturo as well. He seems nice.
Yeah.
There's a feverish hammering on the door, and a small girl calling out, "Miss Harper? Miss Harper?"
She's out at the moment. I'll move up to the door, and I'll open it. Hello, she's out at the moment, but if there's anything we can do to help, we're her friends. My name is Felix.
There's a phone call for Miss Harper from her friend.
Oh?
She says it's a little girl from the neighbourhood, presumably lives one flat or two up. And much like most of the buildings in this part of town, they're only going to have one telephone in the hall, shared by all of the residents.
Oh, did he say that it was Mr. Elias?
That's him.
I can take that call then, and I'll motion to Shelby as well. Elias is on the phone.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Let's go talk to him.
I'll show you where it is. And she runs back into the... Well, she runs up the she runs up the outside stairs through the main doors of the brown house, along the corridor. Come on, it's this way.
About fall.
And she points up at the phone quite proudly. We just had it installed.
That's amazing. Do you often call with it?
She shakes her head. I'm not allowed.
Well, when you get a little bit bigger, huh?
Can I stand around and listen though?
Sure. I say. But it's grown up talk. It might not make a lot of sense.
She shrugs.
That's good. Thank you anyway. And I'll go pick up the receiver.
Yeah, it seems that this girl is just impressed with the novelty of having a telephone and seeing it being used, and so you pick up the speaker to put to your ear and put your mouth to the microphone, or the mouthpiece, I should say.
And I'll ask Shelby to move in close, and we'll try to do this thing where you share the phone.
Yes, the girl isn't going to be able to hear a word of what's going on. It'll be to her, but no, again, she's just impressed with seeing the phone in use. Hello? You hear Jackson's voice on the other end.
It's Felix. And Shelby's here too.
Felix! Shelby! How are you both? Oh, you're huddled around, are you?
Yeah, we're at Madeline's place.
Well, obviously, that's where I'm calling. Sorry, I don't mean to be flip. Is Madeline there?
She's out at the moment.
She's buying bagels, and apparently bagels have a very strong emotional connection for her, so she had to take Rupert with her for support.
Well, the size of the bagels they serve in that place, she might need a Sherpa. Okay, well, anyway, I was just calling. It's really good to hear your voices. Really good. If you could meet up with me at the Hotel Chelsea, room 410 at 8 p.m. Tonight.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, my friends, it is genuinely, I don't know what to say. Yeah, come see me at 8 p.m.
Will do.
We'll see you then. Take care.
I'll put the phone.
You hang it like that, she says.
Yeah, you're right.
You put the speaker on that.
Like this? And I feign not knowing how to do that so that she can show me, because I think she wants to show me.
Mm-hmm. She pulls there's a wooden chair beside the telephone for anyone who needs to make a long call, and she pushes it up so that she can stand on it, lift the speaker up, and put it on the receiver. Like that.
Thank you. I've learned something new. I'll do it just like that next time. You're such a good teacher.
Thank you.
And thank you again for letting us know that we had a call. We appreciate that.
She nods, her job is done, she's lost interest, and jumps off the chair and runs off.
All right. And I'll look to Shelby. So we'll get to talk to Jackson tonight then. That's going to be good. Let's see what he's found out.
Yeah, let's enjoy ourselves while we can, because I expect this conversation's going to get probably pretty intense.
I'll nod at that and go back to Arturo and the beer.
Meanwhile, Madeline and Rupert doing the bagel run. Well, this is fun. He looks at you. It's not that he dislikes you, Madeline. Far from it. He's just a little uncomfortable.
Rupert? Uncomfortable? I can't even metabolize the thought. So let's go ahead and push that discomfort. You look uncomfortable, Rupert. Talk me through it.
Oh. No, I suppose it's the first time back on this side of the Atlantic. I know the last 5 or so months that I was here, after everything that happened, everything kind of, I suppose, warmed up. We forgot things, moved on. I found Arturo and Shelley threw himself into his books. You were focusing on physically. Anyway, I don't need to recap everything. You were there. I just being over here again. Not that New York is like Peru, obviously. Clearly it isn't. He says, gesturing at the bagel shop. Just feels a lot closer. all of a sudden, seeing all of you again reminds me of various things that... Do you understand?
I give him a very patient smile as I flagrantly hold the door open for him to enter the bagel shop. I understand. I do. If we're being honest, I felt that... I bite into my bottom lip as I'm thinking. That fear as well, it's not really fear, is it? It's that feeling of discomfort, or... I don't know how to describe it, Rupert. But I know. I understand. I feel it too. Are you open to some advice?
Always. I mean, you've lived quite a... you're still young, of course, but you've lived quite a life. It would be foolish of me to not... In other words, yes.
I slip my arm around his, and I'm going to lay my head on his shoulder. Us coming together is certainly going to bring up a lot of memories. My recommendation? Try to lean into the comfort that all of us being together brings to. There is celebration in survival. And as much as I don't want to admit it, that's what we did, Rupert. We survived. And we did it together. And now we're together again.
Yes, I suppose. You're right. You are perfectly right, yes.
Of course, I'm always right. Now, tell me, what do you think Arturo would love on his bagel? And I'm immediately going to start rolling him through this just obnoxious menu of these overstuffed bagels that you can get absolutely anything you want in it, from deli to the anchovies to pasta sauce, the framing, the everything. It's a very exciting bagel shop. Local black-owned shop that definitely offers an experience that comes with the meal. And I'm going to try to redirect Rupert to, again, food. Food brings people together. Food is a family-oriented experience. And if I can get him focused on Arturo and what Arturo enjoys eating, what the other boys may want on their bagel, maybe I can pivot him off of at least this current discomfort.
Rupert runs down the list quite enthusiastically. It seems that through Arturo he's been given someone he can actually focus on that isn't just himself. And, well, Shelby as well, but Shelby is slightly more independent. The two of you get on famously. And it's there that we will end our session, as you are bringing the food back and receiving the news that Jackson Elias wants to meet you, all of you, at the Hotel Chelsea, room 410 at 8 p.m.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play Masks of Nyarlathotep for Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. Joining us as our keeper is none other than our dear friend Matthew Dawkins, and we were also joined by Bridgett Jeffries and Eddy Webb. The music was made by Ager Sonus and Halgrath, and we've also used Cryochamber's Lovecraftian compilation albums. All of this with the permission of Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Maciej, Black Templar, Dennis Sadecki, and Leonhardt for their generous support. You would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, this show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost, Call of Cthulhu, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and Warhammer 40k Imperium Maledictum there. And you can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings, and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as even play some Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember, I am the last. I will tell the Audient Void.